Hello, lovelies. It's Sarcasm the Sickness, and right now I am finishing up a commission that I should have finished up long ago, but that Typhlosion drawing that I uploaded a little while ago, that was supposed to be a Houndoom. So here we are, finishing this up, and I honestly was not sure on like poses for this, so I ended up doing all of the sketching and stuff off recording because I traced a dog. I took a picture of it, or not took a picture, but like I borrowed a picture of a dog and traced it and modified it to my needs, which is okay. I do that sometimes. I mean, I try not to do it on recording for you guys, just because I don't know. I'm sure you'd prefer not to see that, but hey, it happens, and sometimes it's really helpful and it helps me produce like some really good stuff. So here we are with this. Here, go back to this. Okay. And the commissioner wanted me to draw Houndoom using flamethrower, which is why that Typhlosion was using flamethrower. So let's make it do that before I move on. And I guess today I want to talk about um well, for some reason, or for reasons that I'm not going to tell you, uh, love has been on my mind again. So, we're gonna talk about that, I guess. So that's gonna be fun, hopefully. Unless you don't like hearing about my horrible love life, in which case, sorry. Maybe next video I'll talk about something interesting. In fact, I want you to here right now in the comment section. Tell me, give me like subjects you would like to hear me talk about. Like, I don't know if you guys want to hear me talk about my views on certain things, or like certain aspects of my life, like like how was your, I don't know, like your middle school time or your high school, whatever, or like stuff like that. Like if there's things that you would like me to talk about, whether it be about me or about a subject in general, or even like if you have like a situation that you would like to hear my thoughts on, then put that in the comment section. Or if it's too much to like put in the comment section, then I don't know, shoot me a message somewhere. I guess here on YouTube, if you want me to discuss something and I guess not use your name or whatever. I don't know. Whatever. If you guys have things you want me to talk about, let me know. That's basically the gist of what I'm trying to say here. But today we're talking about love. And it's hitting me pretty hard. It's hitting me pretty hard. I've actually started downloading love songs again, and not that I had avoided doing that, I just didn't think about it. Like I love the song All of Me by John Legend, but I never like went and actually like bought it and downloaded it and stuff cuz it just wasn't important to me. Like it wasn't that important to me. And now it is, and that's kind of scary. Um a lot of you know that I'm really, or some of you know that I've really been just kind of not really like fooling around because I really haven't had much interaction with anybody remotely romantically. Um Not too many people anyway. So, I've been playing it kind of loose and stuff, but oh god, I don't know. I don't know how long I can keep that up. Not that I am doing it for any reason other than I wanted to, but like now I'm starting to feel more, I guess, like ready to make things more serious, but like not with just anybody, with like just one person, just one person. And I mean, if he doesn't want that back, then whatever. I'll still just do me, and whatever, things will be fine. It's not that serious. It's pretty serious, but it's not that serious. But I don't know. Life has been interesting so far. Or recently, that's what I meant. Recently, sorry. It's hard. I'm not used to. It's been a little while since I've done a recording where I'm actually like drawing and talking at the same time. Actually, like a lot of times I've been talking post recording the drawing and stuff. So gotta get back into the swing of this. I really do. I really have to get back into the swing of this. But how does this even look? I can't draw fire. Okay, I can't. I really just can't draw fire. So I don't know. Hopefully this is okay. Um, but I've been doing a lot of thinking about like about love and stuff. And one of the biggest things I've been thinking about is not like past stuff because I've been really not trying to, but like I just haven't been focusing on things of the past, which is good for me because like you guys know, things in my past relationships just haven't been healthy for me. Um, but I've been thinking about future things, and I've been thinking maybe a little bit about the past, but maybe about like where I went wrong with things. Um, There was a stream, I believe I mentioned this in, and I eventually want to go into this more in another video, in a future video or something. Um, but for a while, and I'm sure it's still there, but I'm not noticing it as much. I suffered from depression, and obviously that's not exactly easy on an individual, but it's definitely not easy on a relationship of any kind. Like, it wasn't easy on my family and on my friends, and especially on uh, well, all of my boyfriends in the past. In fact, most of my relationships have ended because of my depression and them not either wanting to handle it or being able to handle it. So it's been tough, and I realized recently. I mean, it's one of those things. Like after you've been dumped so many times, you have to kind of look inside and be like, hey, maybe not every guy I dated was a jerk. I mean, well, most guys I dated were jerks, let's be honest here. But, you have to look inside yourself and say, maybe there's something wrong with me. Maybe not something wrong, but like maybe there's something that I can do better and I can do differently. And like with depression being the main culprit of or the main reason that, that has been explained to me as to why they're leaving, you know, it's like I had to think to myself like, well, that's probably it. It's probably it. And in fact, it got to the point like in my life where I like every time I would enter a relationship, I would be, bleh. See, there I go, tripping over words. Um, every time I would enter a relationship, I would warn the person ahead of time and be like, "Hey, dude, I suffer from depression, so this is not going to be an easy thing for you. Are you prepared for this?" And he would be like, "Oh yeah, that's fine. Don't worry. I'll help you. I'll help you get over it. I'll help you feel better and be happy and stuff." And that was all fine and dandy until it wasn't fine and dandy anymore and they were gone. And so I found that I mean, like, I still warned, but it wasn't helping because I guess on the surface somebody might be willing to fight the good fight, I suppose, but then not really knowing what they're getting into. Or maybe thinking that, like, oh, well, this will be easy. All I have to do is tell her she's pretty every day and things will be fine. And obviously, it's not really that simple at all. Um, Here, let me go and hang on. Let me change the colors of the lines here because I'm just about ready to start coloring then. Uh, yeah, whatever. I'll just make it black. That'll be fun. Um, Ooh, sorry, I'm getting quiet again. But I need to make this red. That's pretty red, right? Eh, 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 eh. Yeah. Okay, I like that. I like it a lot. All right, time to start coloring. Um, so yeah, it's like if you're suffering from depression, then you probably know that like explaining it to your family and your friends and your romantic interests is not an easy thing at all. And not only explaining it, but like dealing with it, because especially for me, there are points or were points. Not right now. I'm not. I'm really doing a lot better. Um, but there were points where like I would be just really really sad and not know like why, And really just in those moments nothing could really make me feel better because there was no problem. There was no issue that was causing this sadness. It was just I'm suffering and my body chemical stuff is like imbalanced and now I'm really sad and I'm going to cry for the next 2 hours. And like it's easy enough for me to understand because I live it or lived. Ugh, I keep saying it as if I'm still suffering. At least I haven't been recently. Like I said, it's been better and who knows if it'll ever come back, but for now, I'm going to talk about it as if it's in the past tense. Um as if it will forever be in the past tense. And let's keep our fingers crossed, ladies and gentlemen. Um but yes, you know, it was easy for me to understand because I was living it and I understood today's going to be a bad day. I don't know how to get myself up out of this. And there were things that I could do that I would do that, would make me feel a little bit not like better, but at least keep it under control a little bit. Like drawing was a really big thing for me, which is why like part of the reason why I'm constantly drawing, not because I'm still depressed and it makes like and I'm trying to like control that, but because for one, when I was depressed, it made me feel better, and I would would latch onto that. It would help keep my emotions in check a little bit better to to feel like I've accomplished something during the day, even if it's just a small drawing. And in fact, like even during like periods of like intense art block where I just couldn't draw anything that I thought looked good, I would force myself to go through, to push through that and to keep drawing through that, even though I was getting so frustrated and so upset about it, because I knew that in the end I would feel better. And to this, I mean, it really helps to force yourself to go through that because it becomes harder for you to get back into the situations where you feel like you can't draw anything. Like, I rarely experience times where I just can't like draw anything at all. And I mean, like, granted, I can't always draw what I want to draw, but at least I can do something. At least I can produce something and not be in a slump for like 3 days, not being able to do anything. But anyway, I got really off track there. Um, Drawing and stuff would help me, and like taking a bath would help me, and there were little tricks and things that I learned for myself that would at least help keep me in check. But for everyone else around me, even though I wasn't on the verge of suicide sad, seeing me, suffering and being in pain wasn't easy for everybody. I mean, granted, not everybody cared, and or maybe they acted like they cared and they didn't, but who knows? I'm not gonna make judgments on that. Um, like it was just tough for people to like when you see like if you see your mom or dad cry, like that's pretty hard because you're not used to seeing them cry and you don't want to see them cry. If you see like your sibling or your best friend crying, that's tough. It's not easy. It's not easy on a person. And to see them upset consistently is probably pretty harsh. And that's what, people in relationships with me would have to deal with. And obviously it's not easy, so instead of or like like at the beginning they said like, oh well, I'll try to help you, and being told, hey, I'm going through a rough patch today, and like you don't have to do anything, but I'm just not like in a good mood, so I'm sorry. Like hearing that wasn't enough because they wanted to help and they wanted to make it better, and sometimes nothing can make it better. It's like when you're in mourning, you can't just like snap your fingers and make somebody happy again. They have to go through that time of sorrow to and then, like eventually like cheer back up again and like as things happen and whatnot. And that's kind of the way that was. And I couldn't just I could oh like let's go do this, let's go do that, honey. That wouldn't make me not be sad anymore. Just because that's not the way it worked for me, unfortunately. As much as I wish it would have, it's just not the way things worked. And it, after a while, I would hear things like, "Well, I feel like I'm not good enough for you. I feel like I can never make you happy. I feel like I'm making you sad." And that was never true, or almost never true. Okay, sometimes it was, but in most cases, it really wasn't, and it was just me going through, I guess, the unfortunately normal cycles of my depression. And a lot of relationships would end because of that. In fact, one of the best relationships I was ever in ended because of that, because he felt like he couldn't make me happy and wasn't doing enough for me. And obviously that's not what I want, and that's not healthy for me or for the people I'm with. And like I said, I'm doing a lot better now, so that's not going to be an issue as much in future relationships, especially since I am quite aware of the situation, and I'm better equipped to tackle it, I suppose, if it ever does come up again. Um, but it's gotten me thinking, like, and this goes for romantic relationships, friendships, family, whatever, like we all go through hard times and things happen and maybe things don't happen like with me and with other people suffering from depression. Like sometimes things don't happen and you're just sad, and that sucks really bad. It really does. And eventually things will be better if you allow them to get better, but having somebody else try to fix you, no matter what the situation is, it's just not going to work, and it's just going to wear out you and them. Even if you tell them, hey, like, don't try to fix me, I'll figure it out, and they still continue to try, it's exhausting. It's exhausting to watch them, knowing that they're just getting more and more frustrated with you because their efforts are going to be in vain because like, there are just some things that a person has to figure out on their own, whether it be depression, whether it be, getting over a traumatic event, whether it be, I don't know, like just dealing with stress in their lives. We can't always fix the people that we care about. We can't always help them. And like you can always listen to somebody and offer assistance with certain things, but over a long period of time, it's just kind of not possible. And sometimes I just wish that people would not only understand that for themselves and for others. Like if you're the type of person that hopes that being in a relationship will make them happier, then I think you need to take a reality check, unfortunately, and look inside yourself and say, is this really helping, or am I just bringing more people down with me? Because in more than likely, somebody like having somebody else be close to you is not going to make you like better. It's not going to fix you. Even if it does feel better for a while to have them, it's not going to like cure your depression. It's not going to cure your fears. It's not going to alleviate your pains for too long, cuz simply you have to deal with it yourself. But not only do I wish that we who are suffering could really understand that better, but also those who watch us suffer. And it really did pain me to see people, trying so hard to make me better, and me knowing that they just couldn't. It just wasn't possible. That's not the way it was going to work for me. And it wasn't it just really hurt, I guess. But here, let me do this real quick. Okay. I like to do this when I'm working with really light colors so that I can tell where my colors are at, and if I'm going over the lines, or if I'm not filling in all the way, stuff like that. It's fine. Um but yeah, it's you can't you can't expect somebody else to be able to fix you. And for a while, I think I did expect that. And then, even after I learned that people couldn't, I still didn't quite realize that I couldn't fix myself whilst being in a relationship. It just wasn't working for me. I needed time to allow myself to be my own person and to allow myself to, I don't know, to love myself and not expect somebody else to love me. And that helped. And that's basically where I'm at today. Um, and I it's just so silly because I heard it all the time while I was, in those dark places. People would say like, "Tara, you have to love yourself before you can let anybody else love you." And I'm like, "I do love myself. Don't worry about it." But then like I thought I loved myself, and maybe I did, but I didn't love myself enough to allow myself to be alone and to allow myself to discover what I could do for me and not what others could do for me, you know? Like I needed to learn to appreciate myself and to rely on myself. And that was really huge for me. Like gaining my like true independence was really 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 important, and it really helped me honestly to get where I'm at today and to not be suffering like nearly as much as, or at all, I guess, as much like from depression and stuff. It was very important for me to learn self-reliance and to learn not that, like, oh, well, this person wasn't good enough for me or that person was just a jerk. Like, I needed to learn what I was doing wrong and why it was happening. And I guess that makes me feel more confident for future relationships because now I've seen I've seen the problems within myself, and I'm a lot more self-aware. I'm really a lot more self-aware. And I mean, granted, I'm generally the kind of person that like can see themselves pretty clearly. I can usually tell like if I'm just really making wrong decisions and really just doing stupid stuff or whatever. Not that I always care, of course, but I'm usually pretty in tune with, being able to catch myself doing these stupid things, or like I said, like slipping into those really depressive times like where I just wouldn't or couldn't do anything. you know I'm pretty self-aware, but or I was pretty self-aware. Now I'm almost extremely self-aware. And that helped a lot. And I guess I I was saying before. Wow, see, I keep getting off track because I'm trying to draw and talk at the same time, or color and talk at the same time. This is so weird. This is I really need to get back. Bleh. I need to be. Wow, I completely lost it there. I need to practice this more often. Yes, there we go. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Tara. Thank you. I mean, thank you. Um, but yeah, I I wish that I mean, like I said, some of my exes were pretty bad, and the way they handled things was not appropriate and was not, helpful to me or to them. And like I would never ever 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 we are never ever 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 getting back together. Like that, it's like that. But I mean, some of them I wish that they would look inside or look at me and listen to me when I say it wasn't your fault. It was my fault for not being able to fix myself. Or like it was my fault for jumping into a relationship when I wasn't ready. And maybe someday some of them will see that. But and and I suppose there's whatever. I just I guess for me and for you guys listening, you know, like love yourself. Love yourself unconditionally. Love yourself enough to say, this isn't good for me, that isn't good for me, this person isn't good for me, or maybe even I'm not good for me. You need to, like, have enough, I guess, maturity to look inside yourself and say, okay, what I'm doing right now is not helpful to me and is only bringing me down. And that's tough to do. That's really tough to do. And I'm not saying like, oh, well, you should stop doing all the things you enjoy doing because they're not completely and utterly healthy for you. Like I know eating a bunch of sweets all the time isn't good for me, but I friggin' love chocolate and I friggin' love like like just sweets and candies and stuff, and so, whatever. Maybe one day I'll have to pay for that, but oh well, right now I'm doing fine, so whatever. I'm not saying, like, oh, you have to change your whole diet and you have to change your whole lifestyle, but to really expect somebody to be able to love you, you have to love yourself enough to see these things and to know what is good for you and what's bad for you and what you can allow in your life and what you can't. Like in one of my streams I was talking about friendships that are not healthy for you, or like, just general relationships that aren't healthy for you, like people constantly bringing you down, even maybe if they don't mean to. But you have to be mature enough to look inside and say, so and so is only making me depressed, or is only making me angry, or is only getting me into trouble. Maybe it's time to call that quits. And it's hard. It's tough. It's tough to cut out, relationships, and it's tough to cut out bad habits, and tough to change your lifestyle. Like for me, I've been trying to actually like get a decent night's rest, especially before I have to go to work or do something important the next day. And I was so used to just like staying up all night and just doing whatever and going to sleep whenever and taking naps in the middle of the day. And it was really hard to break that bad habit. But I did it because I knew that I had to make myself healthy again. Not only to, help me like, concentrate at work and actually be awake, but also for me, for my depression. Uh, I'm sorry, hang on. While I'm talking here, my computer's dying, and I needed to find the plug, and there's the plug. Don't die, computer. Thank you. Um, yes, like not only to help me with work and stuff, but having proper rest really helps when you're suffering from depression or mental illness in general, or to prevent you from suffering mental illness, I suppose. Just in general, it's a good thing to do. Not that, oh, well, you have to go to sleep on time every single night. I'm not telling you that. You can stay up and party sometimes. We can go hang out and party together. But you got to be you got to be careful about yourself, and you got to be careful about others, because not everything is healthy for you. Everything in moderation, but sometimes you just can't have any of it. Like like the friend that was just toxic, just absolutely toxic to me. Every time that we spoke, I would leave the conversation feeling 10 times worse. And I couldn't handle that. I couldn't do that at all. It just it wasn't good for me. And I removed it from my life. And was it hard? Yeah. In fact, I was afraid that he was going to kill himself over it. Like that's how like destructive that relationship was, I suppose. But he didn't, and I have heard from him since. Um but it just wasn't a good thing. It just wasn't a good thing, and I couldn't deal with that. And I hope that someday he can come back to me and tell me, "Hey, Sarcasm, I feel so much better. I went and talked to a counselor, or I went and, did some soul searching, went to friggin' Ireland and found myself, and now I'm not depressed anymore. Like I would love to hear that, and I would welcome him back into my life with open arms. I I do care about him, but because I care about myself as well, I couldn't try to I couldn't try to like live for him, I suppose. Because that's really what he was asking me to do, was just drop everything and live for him, which wasn't good. And I couldn't do that. And nobody should have to do that. But I've been kind of rambling for a bit now. So I think I'm going to start a speed up around this section right here. Alright guys, I'm back, and this is pretty much done then, and I'm pretty happy with this. Thanks for sticking around in this video, and watching, and leaving a like and a comment and a subscribe if you are not subscribed and haven't done the commenting and the liking already. That would be great if you could do that right now. Um, like I said, thanks for watching. I really appreciate all the support I'm always getting from you guys. You're all lovely. And what was the comment question? What did I ask you to? Whatever. Towards the beginning of the video, I asked you to do something. That's the comment. That's the question. That's what we're talking about today. Whatever that was, let's talk about that. Um, I'll go back and watch this video and figure it out later and smack myself in the head going, "Oh, that's what I should have freaking said in the first place." Whatever. Um, um, for the yeah, I'm happy to finally be getting this done, because I should have gotten this done a while ago, but because I goofed and accidentally drew the wrong Pokemon, I had other things that I had to take care of before I could go back to actually remedy that mistake. But here we are then. Here we are. Thanks for watching. Oh, well, thanks for watching, and have a good one, guys. See ya.